What if the single biggest upgrade to your portfolio this year isn't a new stock pick, but the research platform you use to find it? Both Zacks and Morningstar claim to be that upgrade. After months of hands-on testing, I discovered that one of them consistently provided the deeper, more actionable intelligence that led to more confident and profitable investments for me. If you're deciding where to invest your time and money for the best return, you need to see this Zacks versus Morningstar breakdown. So, let's get straight to the heart of this Zacks versus Morningstar comparison. On the surface, they both offer really good stock research, but I found that they're built for two completely different types of investors. Your choice here fundamentally shapes your entire approach to the market. Morningstar is more designed for the long-term investor. Its core strength is deep, fundamental research. Think of it as your personal team of analysts focused on finding a stock's true intrinsic value. They give you a fair value estimate and tell you if a company is trading at a discount or a premium. This is for building wealth steadily over time, not chasing big wins, but adding on and, trusting the market to go up over decades or however long. But don't just take my word for it for any of this. I actually dug into Morningstar user reviews to see what some other investors are saying about this investment research powerhouse. And one long-term investor shared that while he sometimes disagrees with Morningstar's specific valuations, he finds their detailed analysis saves him tons of time and adds a crucial safety layer to his process, even preventing a few bad investment choices. He specifically praised the clean user interface and the portfolio tracking as well. Zacks, on the other hand, operates on a different wavelength. It's the king of quantitative, data-driven signals. Its famous Zacks rank system is all about earnings momentum and giving you a clear, simple buy and sell signals. It's built for action and for investors who trust hard numbers above all else. And some users loved this approach. One reviewer, a lifetime member, said that he heavily invests in their top 10 stock picks every year and claims it's paid off handsomely, even doubling his investment in a year by following their top ranked stocks. So, Zacks tells you what to do based on recent earnings trends. Morningstar helps you understand why you should do it, why you should invest in this or that, based on long-term business value. If you're the type of investor who wants to build conviction and understand the full story behind your investments, Morningstar's approach is far more comprehensive. Zacks is more for the investor who wants a straightforward, automated signal and doesn't need the deep dive. Now that we see the core difference, let's look at what you're actually getting for your money. I put every tool through its paces, and the gap in depth and utility became very clear very fast. Morningstar's biggest advantage is how it centralizes everything for a serious long-term investor. It's not just a screener, it's your entire research hub. Let's start with one of my favorite tools, the screener. It's not just a basic filter. You can dig deep into stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds, all using Morningstar's own proprietary data, like their fair value and stewardship grades, but also a ton of other options. I use it to find undervalued dividend stocks, and the level of detail to be able to search with is incredible compared to more basic screeners that you find elsewhere. Then there's the Morningstar stock rating. This is one of their main things. This instantly shows you if a stock is undervalued or overvalued based on their analysts' deep dive into the company's financials. It's their proprietary, basically, analysis of every stock. It cuts through the market noise and gives you a clear, data-driven starting point on most of the main stocks that you can find on the stock market. Zacks has its own rank, right? But Morningstar has like its own version of that, and it explains the value behind the price, and it goes into detail, and you get the analysis of it. But the real crown jewel, in my opinion, is access to the full company reports section. So these aren't just summaries, the company reports. These are these detailed analyst written reports that break down a company's competitive advantage, its risks, and its future profit drivers. So not all stocks have this, but they are deep dive reviews into each of these companies, and there's a lot of them. So I read these for many of the major stocks I'm choosing from before any major purchase, and they've saved me before on more than one risky bet from reading these. It's like having a professional analyst working just for you and basically analyzing each thing and giving a summary. And this depth is what users really appreciate. Over on Reddit, in a thread where a user was asking for opinions on Morningstar Premium, he was specifically about their profile tracking and the robustness of their data. One user affirmed this, essentially, saying that he reads the entire Morningstar report before buying any stock. I don't read everything all at once myself. But he specifically highlighted the fair value and the profit drivers section as being especially good. Another user asked him if he found the Morningstar valuations useful, and he said that the basic fair value calculation gives him a great starting point for his options strategy. He even gives a specific example, saying that he was likely to sell a put option on PayPal as it was near Morningstar's fair value estimate at that point. All right, then there's this Morningstar investor who chimes in, praising their tools for basically looking at the technical data of stocks and funds and calling them excellent. He says that while they aggregate data from providers like FactSet, the presentation and user interface are much better than competitors like ETF.com. If you're an investor who values deep fundamental research, clear valuation metrics, and a disciplined approach to building wealth over time, Morningstar Investor is in a league of its own. Now, comparing this to Zacks' core features, right? Zacks' stock screener is laser focused on its own ranking system and its own earnings surprises. One user review I saw praised the Zacks rank as an extremely important tool for rebalancing for them. He mentioned that he'd been able to double his investment in the past year by following their processes and was so confident that he even bought a lifetime subscription to them. So, if your strategy is purely about following quantitative signals and momentum and just following the signals, Zacks can deliver results for you. It depends on what you follow and what you choose, and not everything is successful. It's up to you what you choose to follow, right? But like, what if you want to understand why you should rebalance in the first place and what specifically to rebalance to? What macro trends are shifting or which sectors are becoming overvalued? This is where, in my testing, Morningstar pulls decisively ahead. For this holistic view, Morningstar offers this fantastic market overview page that helps you understand the big picture, right? There's also live webinars to help you get the most out of your subscription if you just want education. And there's also these really robust watch lists and portfolio tracking features. Throughout my testing, Morningstar consistently felt like it was designed to make you a more knowledgeable investor, while Zacks felt more like it was designed to give you, a transaction signal that you could follow or not, right? But of course, whichever style you like, neither of these investment research tools is going to be perfect for anyone, right? To make the best choice in your Zacks versus Morningstar decision, you actually need to know the potential downsides to them. It's better to have this more balanced, informed position to understand what you're actually getting into, right? So for Morningstar, the complaints are usually about user experience. I wouldn't say it's the quality of the research that they're focused on. I came across this Morningstar review from a user who loved the information, but pointed out a couple of annoying quirks, like a feedback link that wasn't working, and the platform constantly asking if you want to save changes to your portfolio. I've noticed this myself. It can be a bit naggy. It's like a minor irritation, but it's there. The key thing is, this can be a quirk in an otherwise incredibly powerful and stable platform, and they might fix its sensitivity and change the interface around a bit. It updates. It's not a deal breaker, and I don't think it impacts the world-class data and like how much you get in terms of tools and value. But it is there, and I thought I'd mention it. Now, with Zacks investment research platform, the downsides that I found were a bit more concerning, I think, a bit more prevalent. I came across this Zacks investment research review where one user reported a significant security breach where his personal information ended up on the dark web. So I'm not sure how that happened, but if that happened through Zacks, that is a massive red flag for any financial service. So that alone made me a bit hesitant. Also, the same user questioned the practicality of the Zacks rank system. He pointed out that with 6 to 10 new number one ranked stocks basically every single day, it would be impossible for the average investor with limited capital to follow all of the recommendations. It can be a bit too fast and a bit too chaotic. So this was a big realization for me during testing. It can make the system feel less like a curated list and more like a fire hose of data, which can lead to paralysis or impulsive decisions for things that don't necessarily have the best value. For a long-term investor seeking better clarity, this can be a major drawback where I think Morningstar is more focused and has a more in-depth approach that I think really shines in comparison. When it comes to pricing, Morningstar, I think, is positioned as a premium research platform, but for the depth of analysis, the quality of the reports, and the peace of mind that it provides, I find the value is definitely there for investors who are actively building and managing their long-term portfolios. For the most current pricing plans and any available promo or discount offers, be sure to check the link in the video description below. I'll do my best to keep it updated so that you can always get the best possible deal there. So, after all of this testing, where does this Zacks versus Morningstar final showdown leave us? Well, if your goal is to become a more informed, confident investor who builds wealth through understanding and long-term value, then I think Morningstar is the clear value-driven winner here for its comprehensive, analyst-driven research and all the tools it has and the depth of data. So if you want to get started with Morningstar and become a much more profitable investor, check the link in the description of this video.